There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, you never left you still in me. I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. Gates is not the only bill that I've been observing, and not the only bill that I find kind of disturbing. Let's go back to the year 1986 and meet the 99th Congress. What a bunch of dicks. They came up with H.R. 4456, the Child Vaccination Act. And here's a wild, fascinating fact. If your company that you own and they supply the vaccine, somebody died, nobody gets tried in a court of law at all. Problem solved. No retribution, no legal solution. You all scot-free. Watch me. Hop on a plane with Mr. Epstein. Now boarding the Lolita Express. Whoa, look over there, man. Is that Eminem and Stephen Colbert? And look, it's the two Bills, Clinton and Gates. Oh man, and they look like they're hitting on that girl that we met on the plane, the one that was with Ghislaine. I think her name was Courtney. Shit, she's only 14. We need to get the fuck up out of here. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, you never let you still in me. I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Now, let's say that you got a foundation and almost all your donations, they're directed toward the containment of a particular contagion. And one of your experts, he's kind of grouchy, his name is Mr. Fauci. He comes up with an equation. Fear plus persuasion equals the creation of a frightened nation whose panic and lack of education and only wanting just some protection from this agent of infection, they head in your direction and they ask Mr. Bill for their injection. Wanting just protection from this agent of infection. Why don't you go get your shine box? Your direction. Go get your fucking shine box, Tony. Injection. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, you never left you still in me. I feel your divinity in my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Dear Bill, I wrote you, but I keep getting returned to sender. I've even tried your wife Melinda, but she's putting a block on my calls. There's a rumor she might have a cock and balls. I apologize for the cursing. I guess you two are never in the same room at the same time, so people think you might be the same person. But anyway, fuck it, man. What's been up? How's the vaccine biz? I know you wish that everybody was on board like Maxine is. Oh, guess what? My wife's pregnant again. You remember Myrtle? Yeah, I always seem to wind up with the skanks. And what's up with you having 3 kids? I thought Melinda was infertile and you were shooting blanks. And what's up with all these tanks? I see them being transported on a train. Is that for martial law? This shit's getting insane. You remember when I met you in New Delhi and you were complaining that it was really smelly? Well, I asked you if it was safe getting that polio vaccine and you said I was making a great decision. Yeah, well, my daughter's okay, but my son Micah, he lost his vision. Yeah, it's been some time and a lot of tears now. And Micah, he's been blind for years now. He's gotten pretty good at walking with a cane, though. Anyway, hit me up, yo. I got nothing left to confess. There's nobody here I need to impress. And while the chemicals were killing me, you never left me still in me. I feel your divinity my vicinity whenever I am depressed or under duress. And I know my abilities you've been giving me. Lyrically, spiritually, I am blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is Friday, and everything seems to be working.
Yes.
So amazing. I am pretty happy to say that everything is working. Last night, if you weren't here or if you were here a little bit, last night was something else. And apparently it turned a lot of people off because we only have one other person other than Riddle Girl watching right now. So I do apologize for that for anybody who got turned off by that. Anyway, we got new lights, so hopefully I'm a little bit more bright in the face than normal. In fact, let me adjust that just a little bit. Yeah, that one's all right. Hey, Riddle Girl, could you turn that one up just one notch for me, please?
Just one?
Just one. We're going to just test this out a little bit on camera. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. All right. So, what's been going on in your guys' world on Friday? For me, I've been doing a lot for this channel, and I've been doing a lot for my gaming channel, right? As I said, I just got new lights in and trying to get those set up and looking good and in the right position, and hopefully the cat won't, tear them down and all that stuff. Other than that, right before we came on stream, it looked like we had a homeless couple in our backyard. Dogs were going wild. It looked like they were carrying a vacuum out, and we were worried that they were stealing, but they said they weren't, and we checked, and we don't see anything missing. So there was a little bit of excitement right there. What's up, Broken Patriot? How you doing this evening? I did catch your one video about people on the right are all upset that they can't go see the president's rallies. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I don't think that's a priority right now. Ended up getting a buy one, get one on these lights. Yes, by the way, Broken Patriot, I just got the lights today that I ordered when I was over at your house. And instead of giving me one box of lights, they ended up giving me two. So I got 4 of these for the price of 2. I don't know, maybe I'll set up the other set in my other room. The other room that I have, I would film like reloading videos for, or gun review videos, which I haven't done in forever. So, I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know.
Way better than those nasty work lights we used to use for lighting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't tried these yet with green screen. That will be interesting. And I still plan on getting a green screen. So, also, in other news, we were going to cover it last night. Actually, I think we were going to cover it the night before, but we didn't get around to it. And then last night was such a cluster that I forgot all about it. But Riddle Girl had gotten unsubscribed from me. Mm-hmm. Now, for a long time, I'd be like, maybe people, they're always claiming, oh, I got unsubscribed, and I didn't unsubscribe. And I'm like, well, maybe you hit the wrong button, right? But Riddle Girl, ain't no way she'd unsubscribe to me, right?
Never.
But, yeah, she got unsubscribed. Yeah, lucky me. I don't know what lottery I got to deserve that, but I guess free stuff, right? Free lights. Can't go wrong. They're not bad. I wish I had better ways to put them up, but I got them pretty good. I like them. All right. So, before we get into the actual stories, let me tell you my thoughts on Trump having the Rona. This is not good for Trump. this could change the course of the election. This could lose the election for Trump. And if you're not worried, you should be. Because if and I do stress, if there are any fence sitters who don't know if they're going to vote for Trump or Biden, then they've just had their mind made up for them. Because Trump has been a devout believer in reopening the economy, going against mask mandates, having his rallies, and his rallies definitely have a lot of people, and basically, just saying, no, I don't think I'm going to get it. I'm going to, take precaution. And now he has it. And they're already all over his butt. They are all over him, claiming that serves him right? And he's incompetent, right? Lots and lots of incompetent things are going around right now. And to be honest, it's a good argument. Now, I believe that there is such a thing as the Rona. I don't think that its death rate is that bad. I do think that it's not great in the elderly people, and Trump is one of those elderly people. However, I also understand that Trump is the president of the United States and will have every medical thing known to man given to him. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about him not being able to afford the doctors or anything like that. He's going to be under the best care possible. So there's that. I just found out that Trump will be in the hospital for up to 2 weeks. Yeah, and this will change the debate schedule. Now, I'm not sure if this will change the debate between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, and I'll guarantee you this comes up at that debate. Trump is looking really, really bad right now, and really, really, like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Incompetent, right? I don't know. I don't really think there's that many fence sitters, though. And I think that's our only... If you're wanting Trump to win, I think that's the only hope that he has to win, is that most likely everybody's already made up their mind. Let's see. That's a long time for a healthy person to be in a hospital. It is. But most likely, I don't know, man. We'll see. Even if he comes out of this unscathed, like, oh, it wasn't that bad, which I'm sure if he doesn't, pass, he'll automatically come out and say how, it wasn't no big deal, man. It was nothing. But it still shows the fact that he went against mask mandates, wanted to reopen the country, and then ended up getting it himself. So it doesn't look good for him. He's on experimental cocktail right now, high fever. Yep. All right. Let's get to it. Trump has the Rona. How will it affect the campaign? Donald and Melania Trump have both tested positive for the Rona, adding a jolt to the final month of the U.S. election campaign. There's a lot here. I'm not going to read it all. What I do want to read, though, if it's still highlighted. Oh, come on now. Don't do that to me. It's not highlighted. Okay, I had it highlighted. 1 second. All right, will it change the state of the race? The news of Trump's infection could jolt the race just 1 month before the election, but much will depend on the severity of his illness, given that Trump has repeatedly downplayed the dangers of the virus and shown hostility towards mask mandates while pushing a message of economic optimism and reopening. His illness may have impacted on voters' perceptions. I think it has. I think it truly has. Now, have people made up their mind? Yeah, maybe. Maybe somebody had their mind made up and now we're like, maybe I don't have my mind up. So I don't think there's any good news out of this. There's no good news. If he even if he gets out of this in a week and like, oh, it was nothing, I didn't have any problems, there's no getting out of this in a positive light, in my opinion. While pushing a message of economic, Trump has canceled his public schedule and promised to quarantine, a dramatic shift after months of mocking Biden for wearing a mask, which he even did in the debate, and reducing campaign appearances due to safety concerns. As recently as Tuesday, when asked about his decision to hold large crowded campaign events where most people don't wear masks, the president was dismissive. We've had no negative effect, and we've had 35 to 40,000 people at some of these rallies. How serious is the health risk does he face? Trump is not the first world leader to contract the Rona. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro was infected and recovered, and the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson ended up in an intensive care unit after contracting the C-19 and eventually made a full recovery. But as the New York Times noted, it can be disruptive when a leader is sick and isolated. Britain's experience shows that even in a country with a well-organized political system, a leader's sudden illness can be deeply unsettling. While Mr. Johnson contracted the virus in March, the government was adrift for several days while he struggled to keep leading the response to the pandemic via Zoom calls from an isolation in his office residence on Downing Street. Due to Trump's age, Trump is in a higher risk category than both of them. An intensive care physician at St. Vincent Hospital in Melbourne, Australia, told The Guardian he is at much higher risk of dying if he does develop that bad pneumonia. The key risk factors for Trump that we know about are his age and the fact that he is overweight, and they can be high risk factors. I don't think he's that overweight, is he? I mean, anybody that's thinner than I am, I've always thought, well, they're not that bad, right? Okay, let's see. Riddle Girl, I'm sure they've given them the best stuff. I bet they are. Bad Poet, what's up? How you doing? I hope you're all well tonight. I am. Welcome to the chat, Bad Poet. Doing well. He's doing well. Great. Awesome. Cool. Okay, we're going to watch a little bit of Tucker here. This has also more to do with Trump and his Rona diagnosis and how the left are feeding on it. Now, you might not agree with how the left is feeding on it, but you have to understand. Well, you don't have to understand, I guess. I try to understand that the people that are in the middle that aren't, 100% Trump supporters, the ones that aren't really sure, this looks real bad against Trump.
Across the world tonight, people are praying that we will learn good news about the president's condition. Over at CNN, however, we were told again and again that the president deserved the sickness that he got, and they trotted out the usual hacks to explain why he deserved it.
A lot of people have been put in jeopardy by the president's behavior, and now we've learned, of course, this morning that one of those people is the president himself.
But he just couldn't get over the fact that in his mind, the mask equals weakness, equals I'm not on top of this virus.
It's looking bad.
Perhaps a bit of a shock this morning for Americans, but not necessarily a surprise.
It is also the most vivid possible demonstration of the incompetence and the irresponsibility of the administration.
In large part, it's his own dereliction is partly to blame for this. He chose to go out to rallies.
Imagine. He just
Autumn
he was
fragrance?
Infected. He just
Thought he was taking
He
hydroxychloroquine.
deserved it.
Yeah.
They didn't wait long.
I thought so,
of course,
too.
Millions of Americans have been diagnosed with the coronavirus, probably people you know, probably people in your family. We can say that. Hundreds of thousands have died. CNN's expert panelists are saying they all deserved it. They must have. They were careless. They were derelict in their duties. If there was a lesson from the coverage of this, it's a very familiar lesson. The media class is willing to attack the rest of the country if they think it will hurt the president they despise, if they think it will give them more political power. And of course, it wasn't just the media. In fact, the official message of the Democratic Party is that Donald Trump had it coming.
We all receive
this
that
does
news
not
with
look
great
good on the
sadness.
Democrats,
I
though.
always pray for the president and his family that they're safe. I continue to do so more intensified. This is tragic. It's very sad. But it also is something that going into crowds, unmasked and all the rest.
Says the lady who went and got her hair done without a mask.
It was sort of a brazen invitation for something like this to happen.
Brazen invitation. He asked for it. He was dressed provocatively. That's what Nancy Pelosi just told you. Many other Democrats are echoing.
It's full volume.
Rick Leventhal has been following this reaction from the Democratic Party. He joins us tonight to explain more. Rick?
Hey, Tucker, there are a lot of people wishing the president and
Let's
First
see.
Lady well on Twitter, sending thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery.
Maybe I
but
can turn it up.
no surprise, the haters are not holding back, actually saying they hope the first couple die. And Twitter says it's immediately removing those messages because they violate policy. Here's
That's
one from
disturbing.
former Obama staffer Zahra Rahim, who shared this and then
Obama
apparently self-deleted
staffer.
a post reading, "It's been against my moral identity to tweet this for the past 4 years, but I hope he dies." Then there's Steve Cox, an independent candidate for California's 39th district, who posted numerous tweets wishing death on the president and then wrote, by quote, "I hope they both die. I was talking about Trump and Biden, not Melania. She seems nice." And former Elizabeth Warren staffer Max Berger wrote, "Trump has destroyed millions of lives. He deserves none of our sympathy." Some Twitter users have compiled a library of mean tweets wishing the worst on the president, and there are too many of them to count, Tucker. In a statement, Twitter says content that wishes, hopes, or expresses a desire for death, serious bodily harm, or fatal disease against an individual is against our rules, and Twitter says it will prioritize the removal of content when it has a clear call to action that could cause real-world harm. That's a quote. Meanwhile, the president's tweet announcing he had the virus was his most popular ever, at last count, tallying 1.7 million likes, Tucker.
Unbelievable. Rick Leventhal, thank you.
Sure.
If you find yourself rooting for someone's death, anyone's death, it's time to pause and take stock of how your own soul has rotted. We're all
That's
gonna
why
die
when
in the end.
Justice Ginsburg died, I wasn't celebrating that she died. You know,
We
you
actually
don't,
debated
you
whether
don't
or not to
celebrate
put
that
on
kind
the
of
air
stuff.
tonight. It's so ugly. In general, our view is don't put things on TV that are that ugly. But we felt we should because it is everywhere today. And we want you to know why. There are some who are rooting for the president's demise and the vice president's demise so that Nancy Pelosi might become president. That sounds insane, and it is, but they put it on MSNBC
Can you imagine
anyway.
Nancy Pelosi as president?
This is a very serious health threat. You are second in line for the presidency. Has the White House contacted you about the continuity of government?
Oh, my goodness.
CNN had a similar
A little
message
early for that,
today.
right?
So this is political opportunism, obviously, but it's more than that. It's spiritual sickness. Hatred, festering hatred has driven these people bananas, truly. On CNN today, Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, who sits in the United States Senate, proved the point better than we ever could. Here's what he said.
If President Trump can't be out there on the campaign trail for the next 2 weeks, then he is going to rely on his surrogates. And unfortunately, one of his surrogates is Vladimir Putin. So you are likely going to see this campaign ramped up by Russia over the next few weeks to try to substitute for the president's absence on the campaign trail.
I'm sorry. Again, we apologize even for playing garbage like that. The President of the United States is in the hospital with a life-threatening illness. He seems to be fine, but you don't know. And that buffoon is on television saying Vladimir Putin is one of his surrogates. Probably some teenage assistant wrote that for you. He thinks it's clever. We put that on the air because we want you to know what they're saying as the president was flown to Walter Reed tonight. What does that even mean, by the way?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Autumn Fragrance, Hope Hicks, and Kellaway Conway has it too. Were you in? You probably weren't in here last night. Did you know that Kellyanne Conway? We did the story last night. It was a cluster bomb that went off last night with our chat. But the last story that we did was Kellyanne Conway got let go of Fox because of inappropriate behavior with a female staffer. Apparently. Oh, is it? Oh yeah, Kelly. I'm sorry. Oh, fake news. Sorry about that. My bad. Kellyanne Conway. I am surprised by that one. Who was the one I was thinking of? Kimberly Guilfoyle supposedly had it too. I thought. I could be totally wrong on that. So I'll just hush about that one. Wow. It's Friday. Hicks is supposedly the one who was displaying the symptoms and that prompted everyone to be tested. Yes, I do remember that. And Bad Poet Gurr. Now it's true that I don't agree with the president on some things. I would agree, granted. I can't stand it when some idiot people want him to die. The man is human and he has a family like you and I. Exactly. But that's where we're at in this country right now. It's so left versus right. It's so red versus blue. It's so liberal versus Republican that people are wanting the other side to die. We've seen that before when we'd have natural disasters in red states where the Democrats then would come out and say, well, they're getting what they deserve. God is punishing them with natural disasters for not believing in global warming and stuff like that, right? We've seen this before. This is not coming, this is not getting any better, right? And in my opinion, it won't get better until after a civil war. When that's going to happen, I don't know. We shall see. What's up, Em? How you doing this evening? Gerald B's in the house. What'd you miss? Well, the president has the Rona, and I'm saying that it's a really bad look for his campaign and might cost him the election. It really might cost him the whole election. Biden might be our next president because Trump looks like an idiot right now, you know, going out, doing these rallies without masks, saying to reopen the country, saying that mask mandates are stupid, and then he contracts it himself. He's looking really bad right now. I agree with everything he says, and I think we should open up this country. I don't, you know, and all that, but at the same time, anybody who hadn't already made up their mind, this is not great for him. Kimberly Guilfoyle had it and recovered. Okay. Thank you for correcting me on that. I apologize for not figuring out the name before I just started yapping. Gerald, there you are. I was wondering where you were. Doing good. Hope everyone is well. I'm doing really decent. I was feeling very energetic today, having a hard time sitting down for too long. I was trying to record some gameplay earlier for my other channel, and I just need one of them stand-up desks. It's kind of disgusting. I don't like myself anymore. Also, Senator Mike Lee has the Rona, says he'll make the Supreme Court vote anyway. Republican Utah Senator Mike Lee revealed Friday that he was infected with the Rona in an announcement that came just hours after President Trump said he had the disease. The conservative senator plans to isolate for 10 days and then return to public life the day the Senate Judiciary... Say it for me, Judiciary? Judiciary, thank you, committee is scheduled to begin considering the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. I will be back to work in time to join my colleagues in advancing her nomination, Lee wrote. You know what I found interesting? I forget where I saw this, but apparently the Constitution requires that the president in his term, put people on the Supreme Court. And supposedly... it has nothing to do, or in the Constitution, it has nothing to say about how the Senate needs to confirm. The Senate is just there to advise the president. So technically, constitutionally, the president just appoints, and the Senate is supposed to not be able to do a dang thing about it. Constitutionally. I don't know. I just learned that the other day, though. So, all right. Lee said that he took the test on Thursday after getting medical advice about symptoms similar to long-time allergies, according to the statement posted on Twitter. He visited the White House on Saturday as Trump announced Barrett's nomination and met with her 2 days before he started feeling the symptoms. Trump disclosed that he and the First Lady had tested positive overnight. Lee tweeted on his own diagnosis mid-morning Friday. The isolation period comes on the recommendation of the Senate attending physician, Lee said in his statement. So there you go. We got a whole bunch of lawmakers and people in government getting it right now. Crazy, right? Lots of evil out there. Overheard my neighbor talking on the phone while on her deck. She said, I hope they both die. Actually, I hope it's a long, painful death. I knew she was cruel, but dang, yeah. That is pure evil. That is pure evil. People like that don't know the Lord. You know what I mean? And some actually do consider themselves Christians, which is really strange, right? But yeah, if you're wishing painful, agonizing death on anybody, that's a bad character on you. All right, let's get off of the Rona and President Trump. Apparently, officers knocked 3 times, announced themselves before entering Breonna Taylor's apartment. It was the 3rd time that we were approaching, then I said, let's go, let's breach it. Police who shot Breonna Taylor announced themselves as law enforcement before entering her apartment, according to the grand jury testimony that was among hours of audio recordings released Friday. And it has come out in evidence that she was in the hallway, which is obvious, right? We were all told that she was in bed. However, her boyfriend was in the hallway. He didn't get killed. I don't know if he got shot or not, but he didn't get killed, and she did. So that always kind of smelled wrong. But now they're confirming that she was in the hallway. What was she doing in the hallway? I don't know. Was she being used as a shield, or was she just in the wrong place at the wrong time? I have no idea. We knocked on the door, said police, waited, 10 or 15 seconds, knocked again, said police, waited even longer. Louisville Police Lieutenant Sean Hoover said in an interview recorded March 13th, the same date Taylor was shot, and later played for the grand jury. Well, here's the thing. You should have had body cameras. I believe they had body cameras, but they didn't have them on. That is suspect, all right? That is really suspect. So it was the third time that we were approaching. It had been like 45 seconds, if not a minute, Hoover said. And then I said, let's go, let's breach it. Grand juries typically meet in secret, and releasing testimony and other evidence from their proceedings is rare. A court ruled that the content of the proceedings typically kept secret should be made public. The grand jury in Taylor's case brought no criminal charges against the officers for her killing, angering many in Louisville and around the country and setting off renewed protest. Officers had a no-knock warrant to search Taylor's apartment for drugs, but Attorney General Daniel Cameron later said officers announced themselves. It's a key issue because the officers said that they opened fire after Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired a gunshot at them. Walker said he didn't know the men who burst in the home were police. And I can believe him on that technically, especially since we don't have body cam footage of them announcing themselves and knocking on the door 3 times. When it's their word against somebody else's word, I'm not going to believe that. I know a lot of people believe the police because they think they're honest people and they wouldn't lie. Police can lie to you. You cannot lie to police. I'm not trusting a cop to save my life. You know what I mean? One law enforcement officer testified that the police ultimately never executed the warrant to search Taylor's apartment. Were drugs, money, or paraphernalia recovered from the apartment for? The answer to that is no, the officer said on the recording, so they didn't recover nothing. They didn't go forward with executing the initial search warrant that they had for Breonna Taylor's apartment. Okay, that's why they didn't find anything, apparently. Cameron, whose office led the investigation into police actions in the Taylor shooting, did not object to the file's release. But on Wednesday, his office asked for a week extension to edit out personal information from the material. The judge gave him 2 days. Cameron, a Republican and the state first African-American attorney general, has acknowledged that he did not recommend homicide charges for the officers involved. Police used a narcotics warrant to enter Taylor's Louisville apartment on March 13th, where she was shot 5 times. Cameron said 2 officers who had fired their guns hitting Taylor were justified because Taylor's boyfriend had shot at them first. The boyfriend has said that he thought someone was breaking in. The grand jury did not charge fired Officer Brent Hickinson with 3 counts of wanted endangerment, he did charge them for wanted endangerment for shooting into a neighborhood apartment. No one was hit. He has pled not guilty. Cameron said that there was no conclusive evidence that any of Hickinson's shots hit Taylor. The audio recording of the jury's proceedings were being added to Hinkins' public court file. Protesters have been taking to the streets to demand more accountability. Activists for Taylor's family and one of the jurors called for the grand jury file to be released. The release comes a day after the first woman to lead the Louisiana Metro Police Department, Yvette Gentry, was sworn in as the department's intern chief. I know I'm an intern, Gentry said at a small ceremony streamed on the department's Facebook page, but I represent something different to a lot of people, being the first woman to take this title. So I'm not going to shortchange that. Well, you've been hired as a political, what do you call it? You're just there to show that they're diverse, right? You didn't get hired because of what you can do. You got hired because of your sex and possibly your race. All right. Let's see. She's the wife of a retired minister, United Church minister, and she. Oh man, these are the people that are going to be really shocked when Jesus comes. Like, but Lord, I did all this stuff. I know, but you're evil and you wish death on people. You know? It's important to remember that real love is unconditional. Jesus showed us how he treated Judas, knowing that Judas would betray him and ultimately led to his death. There you go, Riddle Girl. Great analogy. It rained today. Sometimes, me internet keeps kicking out. Oh, so your internet keeps kicking out? Okay. Jesus washed Judas' feet. He fed Judas and prayed for him. That stinks, Gerald, but I'm always grateful for rain. Living in the desert. Yeah, we've only had rain like once this year. We're like 6 inches of rain under normal. What's up, Mule Team? How you doing? Ooh, kisses, huh? How's Skinny Sting treating you? I ain't that skinny yet, man. I'm still over 300. But I'm getting there. A little bit at a time. He's more and more energetic every day. Yeah, well, that's good and bad, right? Because I'm a little bit more full of energy, but not as much stuff to do. In fact, this channel and this program is not sponsored or well, we're kind of monetized when we're live, but we're definitely not sponsored. And here's hoping that we might get sponsored someday. So for anybody out there, tacticalshit.com, Amazon, the people that actually make the Spitball Blaster, if you're interested in sponsoring this channel, we went ahead and we threw something together for y'all. Ammo shortage got you down. Nerds at work impossible to hear because of those stupid masks. Hate your cat. Or are you just bored looking for entertainment? Look no further, we've got your back. This bad boy is easy to find ammo for. What does it take, you may ask? Spitballs, dumbass! It's called a Spitball Blaster! Come on! But seriously, clear the house with your kids without the wife bitching. Funny, right? In good, clean, easy to find ammo for fun. Order yours today. Comes with 50 pellets, pre-made and saliva free. No better blaster out there could shoot loogies straight at unsuspecting people's faces. All right, so apparently there was an echo on that. I apologize. Boy, this is why we don't have any sponsors. Oh, what's up, Transphibian? How you doing? Good show, strange turn of events. Yeah. Man, I can't believe I screwed that up. Oh, well. All right. Thank you for sticking through that. Hopefully that didn't bother you so much you left, because I know I can't stand an echo. All right. I don't think we have an echo now, though, so we're good. Moderator of the second planned presidential debate worked for Biden. I kind of wonder if we're going to have the second presidential debate, or if it's going to be postponed. Bad Poet says, sign me up. It's also really loud. I kind of want to turn it down a little bit, the commercial. I'll try it again next week, but I don't know. By the way, there is a link below if you really like the Spitball Blaster. I do have a link down below where you can pick one up. So, who knows? The journalist set to moderate the second presidential debate has close ties to Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, according to the Trump campaign. Steve Scully, who hosts C-SPAN's Washington Journal, interned for Biden while he was a college student, according to Marie Claire. He then worked for the late liberal Lion Senator Ted Kennedy and has remained close to the Biden family for several years. This week, a picture he had taken with Biden in 2016 resurfaced. There you go. Gotta love the VP at the Biden Beach Bash. After the first presidential debate in which a moderator, Chris Wallace, sparred with President Trump while letting Biden avoid an important question about court packing, the president's team is understandably wary. Yeah, that was messed up. And that was supposed to be the conservative moderator, right? Which we all know he's not, but it was supposed to be. And that one really chaps my hide. And I'm not a big fan of either, but thank you, Riddle. But Trump should expect to be up against biased moderators for the duration of the campaign, according to Senator Cruz of Texas. Everyone agrees Tuesday's debate was a train wreck. A major contributing factor was the moderator, Chris Wallace, a registered Democrat, repeatedly interrupting and trying to help Joe Biden. The next debate is set to be moderated by a former intern to Joe Biden and Ted Kennedy. Why is it that there is no conservative moderator? Doesn't the President of the United States get any say in who gets to moderate these things? Broken Patriot says that was funny as hell. Thank you, Broken Patriot. Were you able to hear it over the echo? Or was it funny because it was so badly done with the echo? Glad y'all liked it. We had fun doing it. I was laughing pretty hard when he recorded it. Yeah, that was fun to do. Sounded cool with the echo. I thought it was perfect. Oh, really? I'll have to go back and rewatch this stream and see how it sounded, because I didn't hear an echo in my ears, obviously, because it's muted for me. Here's a little bit of good news. I'm no fan of the NRA, okay? And if you're a gun owner, I would definitely suggest not signing up for the NRA. They are a corrupt, seriously corrupt organization, and the reason why we have so many infringements on our Second Amendment rights as it is. If you're going to sign up with a gun group, I would go with the GOA or somebody else. The GOA is the one that I know and the one that I've signed up for. And it took me a long time to sign up for the GOA. In fact, I think it was Ohio Wolverine that finally convinced me to, stop postponing it or forgetting about it, because there was a lot of times I just forget about it. So I'm a member of the GOA, and I would not recommend the NRA. However, LA has now been ordered to pay 6 figures to the NRA for violating its First Amendment rights. LA must pay the National Rifle Association $150,000 in damages after a federal court ruled that the city violated the organization's First Amendment rights. A federal judge ordered the payment about 10 months after he decided the case in favor of the NRA. The ruling came in response to an to the Los Angeles City resolution in April of 2019 that declared the NRA a domestic terrorist organization, and an ordinance that punished city contractors who associated with the Second Amendment advocacy group. When passing the ordinance, the Los Angeles City Council determined that awarding contracts to NRA supporting groups would undermine its efforts to legislate and promote gun safety. The NRA quickly responded with a lawsuit in April, calling the ordinance an unconstitutional ideological litmus test for independent contractors, requiring that they disclose information about their political beliefs and associations. Central California District Court Judge Stephan Wilson, in December of 2019, ruled that the ordinance was punishing businesses that associate with a group dedicated to defunding the Constitution, violated the First Amendment rights to the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly. In this case, the text of the ordinance legislative history, and the concurrent public statements made by the ordinance's primary legislative sponsor evince a strong intent to suppress the speech of the NRA, Wilson wrote in his opinion. San Francisco passed similar ordinance, but Democratic Mayor London Breed, apparently realizing the ordinance's lack of wisdom, told employees not to consider whether a business supports the NRA in awarding contracts. So he basically said just ignore what the thing said in the first place. The Los Angeles City Council said February that it would repeal the unconstitutional ordinance and tell contractors that their support for the NRA could remain confidential. Interesting. Let's see, GOA or FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition. I don't mind the Firearm Policy Coalition. I would probably say it's a decent organization, but to be honest, I am subscribed to their YouTube channel. I think the guy who runs their YouTube channel is a little bit of a, but at the same time, I don't see anything wrong with them. but I could be wrong. But the GOA is fighting for people's rights to own bump stocks. And I have a little bit of vested interest in that. And not to mention the fact that they're no nonsense, no, Second Amendment all the way, no infringements, right? Is it blurry for anyone else? I don't know. Am I blurry, Riddle?
Not for me.
No, we're not blurry. My frame rates or my kilobytes looks like it's pretty high too, so we should be good. It might be on your end. Stocks wobble after Trump test positive. I don't know. Gold and silver are still kind of low. I mean, the dip is real, right? So if you're thinking about getting into silver and gold, now is the time, man. I think. But once again, I'm not a financial advisor. Stocks are pulling lower Friday as Wall Street's first reaction to President Trump's testing positive for the Rona was to retrench. The S&P 500 was down 0.6% in late morning trading, and a measure of fear among investors was on the rise. But the moves weren't close to as chaotic as earlier this year when the markets first selling off the Rona fears. Stocks were also preparing their earlier losses, with an S&P 500 more than halving its 1.7 drop from shortly after trading began. Personally, in my opinion, if you're in the stock market, get out of it. Get out of it as soon as you can and put it into something real. That's just my opinion. But this does reflect what's going on in the country quite a bit. To say this potentially could be a big deal is an understatement, Rab Obank said in a commentary. Anyway, everything now takes a backseat to the latest incredible twist in this U.S. election campaign. Analysts and some of the market movements could be explained by investors building up expectations for a Joe Biden victory of the White House. With Election Day a little more than a month away, that could mean higher tax rates and a tighter regulation on companies, which would limit profits and hurt stock prices. Okay, it's fine on Broken Patriots end now. All right, I'm not going to read all that. But yeah, it is affecting the markets. I don't know. It's all chaotic right now, right? And by the way, Europe's central banks are moving towards introducing digital euros. We've been covering this for months, it seems like. But yeah, it's not going to be first in the United States. The United States won't be the first one to have a digital currency, but believe you me, we are going to get a digital dollar. And I would imagine, especially if we have a dollar reset, then it will go to a digital dollar. With consumers increasingly using cashless ways to buy things, the European Central Bank on Friday took a step closer to issuing a digital version of the euro currency shared by 19 countries, saying that it had been ready to launch digital money if a changing world requires it, because of the Rona. The central bank issued a comprehensive report outlining the reasons why it might need to take the step. The ECB also said it would hold public consultations on the idea with citizens, academics, and bankers. It said no decision had been made and that any digital euro would complement cash, not replace it. Yeah, if you believe that. I mean, yeah, maybe for the first year or so, but that's exactly what you're going to do eventually. The consultations will start October 12th. The euro belongs to the Europeans, and our mission is to be its guardian, said Christine Lagarde, ECB president. Europeans are increasingly turning to a digital in the ways they spend, save, and invest. Our roles are to secure trust in money. This means making sure the euro is fit for the digital age. We should be prepared to issue a digital euro should the need arise. Well, that's just a lot easier to print a whole bunch of them without anybody knowing, isn't it? A digital euro would be different from current cashless payment systems run by the private sector because it would be official central bank money, trustable, risk-free, and likely less expensive to use. A central bank digital currency could also be used offline, for instance, to transfer small amounts between individuals using digital wallets on their smartphones and Bluetooth connections. Man, if you talk about, that's bad for drug dealers. right? That's bad for anybody who would like the government to stay out of their business or what they're doing behind the scenes. The use of cash is dwindling in some countries, led by Sweden, where most bank branches no longer handle cash, and shops, restaurants, and museums only accept cards or mobile payments. Additionally, the pandemic has led to an increase in touchless, non-cash ways of paying in shops. Cash still has its adherents because of its convenience and private. Yeah, it's private. And the ECB was at pains to make clear it was not proposing doing away with notes and coins. Well, that's how they have to sell it, right? They have to say that. And then once the majority, more than 50%, are on board with the cashless money, that's when you start phasing out the real currency. You just stop printing it as much, right? We saw how much change shortage we had here in the United States, right? The U.S. Federal Reserve is taking more long-term view. A member of the board of governors at the Fed said in August that the Fed would need to ask the U.S. law or how the U.S. law would apply. She said no decision had been made as we are taking the time and effort to understand the significant implications of digital currencies and CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, around the globe. A task force of experts from the ECB and 19 national central banks of the Eurozone noted that as demand increased for cashless payments, there should be a Europe-wide risk-free digital system. They said that the potential launch of global private digital currencies could raise regulatory concerns and pose risk for the stability of the financial system. Facebook last year proposed launching Libra, a digital currency that would be backed by existing government-issued money. So you're going to back digital currency with worthless paper currency. And what is the worthless paper currency backed with? Hopes and prayers? Libra would not be run by Facebook, but by a non-profit association based in Switzerland. Central banks and regulators have raised concerns about privacy, money laundering, and consumer protection. The project suffered a setback when high-profile financial companies such as MasterCard and Visa left the project. The technical bias could be so-called distributed ledger technology, a decentralized way of keeping track of payments, or the existing ECB payment infrastructure. The private sector would then deploy the ways for the currency to be used in practice by customers. Interesting. All right. It's okay. I read that. How do you give a digital dollar to a bum? Well, that bum most likely will have a cell phone. I mean, most bums that I've seen have cell phones. I see them on their cell phones all the time, right? So yeah, as long as you have a cell phone, you're good to go. Little girl, that's where socialism comes in. Everyone will get home, food, and basics. So no more bums. Yep, and you'll get taxed more, in theory. Thanks. Think of all the trouble when you travel out of the country. I don't think it'll be much trouble. I don't think it'll be much trouble at all. Right now, you have trouble, right? If you fly out of the country with cash and you go to Europe, right? When you get to Europe, you got to change that cash over to euros, right? But that hasn't really been a problem for years because most of the people don't fly to Europe on vacation with money in their pockets. They just fly with their Visas or MasterCards or whatever, their debit cards, and they can use those there just like they would here. There's no actual transfer. It does it all mathematically for you without you even being aware of it, right?
Yep.
So now, if it's a digital currency and you have a digital dollar and then you have a digital euro and you fly there with your phone's going to know when you're now in Europe, and now it's going to transfer all your dollars into euros. And now you're paying in euros. Simple. Absolutely simple. And that's how they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it on its ease of use and its simplicity. It's so easy. It's so less inconvenient than cash. You don't have to get it transferred over in a bank and all that. And you don't have to worry about getting mugged. All you have is your cell phone. And if that gets stolen, you can shut that down real easily. What's up, Irish USMC vet? How you doing this evening? We're not doing the morning mustard. Let's see. New World Order, all countries are on this train. I'm telling you, man, it's coming. It's coming. Get what you need now. Get your barter systems going. Get your metals. The enhanced encryption and put more fake money. Good to see you. I see hackers getting rich. Yeah, probably. Banks already allow money laundering. Yes, we did cover that, Em. We covered that with the whole Epstein thing. How much money laundering went on there, and they got a slap on the wrist? Come on. They should all be in jail. HSBC is an example. I suspect the government will overlook it but require their cut. Same with organized crimes, drugs, etc. Yes, they will. It's morning here. Well, good morning to you. Well, I don't know. Is it? Yeah, I guess it would be about 1 o'clock now. Well, welcome. And lastly, get woke, go broke. NBA, the finals. I didn't even know they were already at the final. Well, actually, I guess I did know they were at the finals because they were saying how that they were going to postpone them because of the protest, or they were going to protest what's going on in the world by postponing them. I don't remember. But here we go. You get woke, you go broke. It's the recorded lowest viewership in history. The NBA has suffered a record-breaking drop in both ratings and viewership for the opening game in the finals as fed-up Americans, patriots disgusted with professional athletes playing politics, continue to switch the channel or turn off their TVs. Exactly. There's a lot better things to do with your time than to watch TV, first of all. And if it is TV, to watch sports. Sports was one of my favorite things. Okay, I was huge into sports. Why? Because it's an escape. You could watch sports and get away from all the crap that was going on in the world. And now you couldn't. At first, it was just ESPN, right? Okay, simple enough. Stop watching ESPN. I'll get my sports news from somewhere else, right? But then it got into the sports, and I was done. It was bad enough when these millionaires start bitching that they're not getting paid enough, and they're going on strike, making it so that we can't watch a game, so that we can't enjoy some entertainment, right? And then you're going to bring your political beliefs in it. I'm not saying you don't have a First Amendment right. You totally, 100% do have a First Amendment right. But I'm not allowed to go to my job and wear political shirts. I can't go to my job wearing Trump 2020 or wear a MAGA hat. Why should you be able to go to your job and do that? You're rich and famous. You telling me you can't go and protest downtown with everybody else who's protesting? Oh, that's right. You won't do that because, you know, they're lower people than you. You got a virtue signal by doing it in your own little safe space. I get it. I see how it is. Riddle girl, I'm so tired of professional sports doing that crap. If anyone tried that crap on a regular job, yep, you'd be fired. Instead of posting the good, if not the great numbers that the NBA expected to draw from the Game 1 finals with LeBron James on the floor, the NBA saw a history-making collapse in both ratings and viewership. The opening game of the series between the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat brought 7.41 million viewers to ABC, the smallest audience for the finals since at least 1994, when total viewers began to regularly recorded. The previous low was 8.06 million for Game 3 of the 2007 NBA Finals. So it was even lower than that. The game, which took place about 4 months later than the usual start date for the NBA Finals, was down about 45%. That is big. In total viewership, the U.S. audience for last year's finals opener between the Golden State Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. Breitbart reports massive declines in viewership and ratings are nothing new for the NBA since the league restarted its season with a full embrace of social justice activism. The NBA has suffered huge drops in numbers, a counterintuitive development for a league that restarted after its fans had been starved for sports for 5 months and much of the country was at home due to the Rona. However, it seems much of the country found the NBA's focus on politics to be a major turnoff. In early September, a Harris poll found that most fans were watching fewer games because the NBA had become way too political. Amen. Get woke. Go broke. All right. Well, those are the stories that I have for you. I can't believe everything seemed like it went off pretty well tonight. The lighting looks pretty decent, I think. Riddle, what do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we got the lights pretty much where I want them. Everything is doing well. You guys got anything planned for the weekend? I am going to be eating my first steak since my surgery. Tomorrow will be, well, it won't be my 2-month anniversary, but it's close, right? So my 2-month anniversary will be on the 5th, but me and Real Girl, we're going to go out a little bit early. We're going to share because I can't eat that much, but we're going to go to a steakhouse and get some filet mignon, right? Because it's a small steak and it's really tasty, and that's about, if we have it, that's about how much I can eat. So we're going to share a meal, and I'm looking forward to it. It's the first beef that I've had since the day that I had the surgery, so it'll be fun. Other than that, I think we're planning on doing some hiking somewhere. We haven't really decided where. And I will be doing live streams of Sea of Thieves on my gaming channel. Yeah, so there you go. That's what's going on for me this weekend. Steak right on, yeah. I might go a little off diet and get like some fries, or but if they have super salad, I'll get the salad with like the dressing on the side, right? And that do the whole dip your fork in the dressing trick. So yeah, not bad. Yeah, the 2-month anniversary is coming up pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about that. Transphibian, hopefully camping. Oh, dude, I want to go camping so bad. Likely the last nice weekend of the year here in Washington. Still been 70 plus highs, which is crazy for this time of year. Yeah, I would imagine in Washington for sure. That's cool. Yeah, I need to get more. I haven't gone camping since I was a kid because fat people don't like to camp. Okay, yeah, I need like a raised bed and like comfy chairs and all that. But it's getting better, so yeah, we're thinking about it. We're definitely thinking about it. Wow, looking forward to cooler temps. Yeah, it's getting closer to that. I mean, it's been pretty good around here lately. We've had some decent temps. All right, let's see. Where am I? All right, so with that being said, that's all I got for tonight's episode. Make sure you check out the descriptions down below. First, in the descriptions, we have a link to Adam Lawson's Blessed. That's the song that plays before I come on live. So if you like that song, go check him out. Next is Spitball Blasters. You can shoot spitballs at people's face during the Rona pandemic. I think that's just good, wholesome fun right there. You see somebody with a mask, shoot a spitball at them. That'll teach them. Anyway, causes I believe in and support is Justice for Cannon. Cannon is the 5-year-old boy who was shot in the head by his neighbor who happened to be black, and the boy happened to be white. You won't see that on the news because that doesn't fit the narrative. Next is Ryan Whitaker's family GoFundMe. Ryan Whitaker was a man here in Phoenix who was shot by the police in the back while trying to comply. And you can get updates on his murder on his Facebook page, Justice for Ryan. Next is help find our missing in action with ProjectRecover.org. That's an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members and returns the remains to their families. And last is my good friend Irish, USMC vet, which hopefully is still in chat. He's trying to start up a place in Tennessee where veterans can come and live room and board free while learning a new skill like farming or blacksmithing or gunsmithing. Next are all the different ways you can support my content. We have Bitcoin, Erethreum, Basic Attention Token, PayPal, and there's even a link in there to get $10 free of Bitcoin. So if you don't have any Bitcoin, why not grab $10 free, cash out if you want, and then you have an extra $10 for, I don't think it's too much work either. It's not that hard. Lastly, it's all the different places you can follow me. I'm on BitChute, DLive, Parler, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I got out of Twitter jail. And for all my DLive viewers, thank you very much. We've had a few lemons. I think I have like 3 lemons now. I don't know how many you need yet in order to like cash in, but I think they equal $1 each. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so 3 down, 97 to go. But I really do appreciate all my viewers on whether it be on YouTube or on DLive. Seriously, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I hope you do have a wonderful weekend. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat here. Thinking about taking the 12 gauge out to see if I can find some birds to shoot. Right on. We have a lot of pigeons. Not good for eating, though. Yeah. I mean, I have the Comrade 12, but to be honest, I'm thinking about getting rid of it. The Comrade 12 does have its issues. I've only taken it out shooting once, though. So I'm going to wait on getting rid of it until I take it out shooting a few more times. But to be honest, I wasn't that impressed with the video that I posted and how it performed. And I'd always thought about getting a Marine Magnum. And I'm really thinking maybe I should get a pump Marine Magnum. You know what I mean? So that's a thought. Sweet. Hope you get some goose in turkey or two. Hell yeah. Kraus. Sorry. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you for this week. I hope to see you back Monday at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Until then, though, make sure you keep your family close. Watch out for that government and try to live as free as you possibly can in this tyrannical time that we find ourselves living in. Until then, though, stay safe, and I will see you later. Peace.